What's up, everybody? It's Luke James, not the singer. If you're looking to get your music reviewed, you can hit up this email that's right here. But today I'm going to hit you up with my thoughts and opinions on this new project from Juvenile and Birdman called Just Another Gangsta. Now, I think everybody knows who these two are. Birdman and Juvenile are both legends and icons from Cash Money Records who put in a lot of great work in the 90s. But the thing is, they really haven't done too much within the past couple of years. I'm sure maybe they've been involved in some business ventures, and I know there have been some projects that have dropped, but they really haven't been in the limelight. And you know, these are two artists who I think within the past couple of years haven't been talked about too much. And that's not me, saying anything bad about them, because they already staked their claim on the game all those years ago when they took over. But as of now, I mean, Juvenile and Birdman aren't two names who I think people get overly excited about when they hear music from them. Juvenile, of course, has a couple of Southern classics when we look at 400 Degrees and also the G Code. I think both of these are great albums, and he does have some other albums that are pretty dope earlier on in his catalog. And when it comes to Birdman, aka Baby, I think his best work is actually the stuff that he did with Mannie Fresh as a part of the Big Timers. They gave us plenty of projects. I Got That Work is one of the albums in particular that I really like from them, but his solo stuff hasn't been that great. You know how it goes. Sometimes when a group splits apart, especially someone who's not a very strong rapper like Birdman, sometimes when they separate like that, the solo projects aren't that great. Even the ones that Mannie Fresh did himself weren't fantastic. But hey, you always do get a couple of hits here and there. I mean, Birdman did give us What Happened to That Boy with the Clips, and that song alone is a classic. So other than that, really, there was a couple of years back when Birdman sort of reformed this group called Rich Gang that was with Rich Homie Quan and Young Thug. They did a couple of compilations and stuff like that. So I think that was the last time I really heard people talking about Birdman. And that song Lifestyle, whether you like it or not, pretty much everyone knows it, man. That was a big hit when it dropped. So, like I said, I'm not saying they haven't done shit within the past couple of years. They certainly just haven't been highlights of the rap game, in my opinion. So now we come to this project, and because of all the stuff that I've been talking about, I wasn't too excited about this, but I'm glad I gave it a chance because I actually think it's pretty dope. Most of the production here is handled by D-Rock, who I think came through with a lot of versatility. So we're going to talk about some of those beats first. We have From the Block. This is a funky and fun guitar joint. Sounds like it samples something maybe from out of the 70s. I'm not sure as I hit my mic here. Maybe you guys can let me know if you recognize the sample, but it just has a sort of old school feel to it. Just a very fun and bright track. Then we get the song Breeze that is just very atmospheric and light and breezy. It really does live up to the title. And of course, the title track really is one of the show stealers here because it has that Bay Area vibe as well as a Too Short sample that obviously fits the Bay Area mold. This is a song here that when I heard it and I watched the video, it made me say, God damn, this shit is actually pretty dope. I gotta check this project out. And there's some good things happening with the bars as well. We got Juvie on here speaking on his days as a hustler who was just making moves and trying to play his cards right, so we're getting some of that street narrative. And even though you don't expect much from Birdman, I think he sounds alright on this song and throughout this album. I mean, going into this, you know that Juvenile is gonna do most of the heavy lifting with the rapping and the lyrics, and that's how it is. I mean, some of these songs Birdman only shows up for a little bit to do some of that talking as well on a couple of tracks, but even still, man, I think Birdman on this was acceptable. I'm not going to say he's a great rapper still mostly getting just that braggy, braggadocious, boastful shit that you would expect from anything Cash Money related, but there are some moments here and there with that street narrative and just talking about their come up in general. One thing I will say though is that there are some fun approaches with their ideas, like on the song Broke. This is a very fun and catchy ode to people who flaunt that lavish lifestyle but they're really not living it. I thought this had a really catchy hook and a great beat that makes use of some woodwinds, so I did like that. And then on Back Then, Juvie and Birdman are just reminiscing on their days back when Cash Money started, even before Cash Money, because they've been had money from when they were hustling and doing some other things. So there is a little bit of content here to keep things interesting, nothing too heavy, not that you would expect that here, but I just wanted to point out that there is a little bit of content that you might be able to pick up on, and I do think it's cool how they're speaking on their past and some of the hustling they used to do, so that was cool. But one thing I will say about this project is that as good as it started, like I think about the first half of this project is pretty solid. What happens on the second half is that it really starts to taper off and just fall off, in my opinion. The beats, as much as I do like a lot of them, they do start to feel a bit generic and samey, nothing too memorable about them. They do get pretty forgettable, and it's the same thing with the bars, man. You get the same topics, a lot of the same rhyme styles and stuff, nothing too interesting. But I think Juvenile still sounded the best that he has in quite a while, man. After looking looking at his Wikipedia, I saw that he had so many like albums and mixtapes he dropped within the past couple of years, but I didn't recognize any of them, any of the tracks. I went back and skimmed through some of them just for a bit of an idea, but he just sounded pretty good here, I think. I actually would be interested in hearing another Juvenile solo project if he gets a bit of a machine behind him once again and were to push one out. So we'll see what happens there. But like I said, the second half falls off because of some of the production, some of the content's getting samey, and then you're getting this boatload of fucking bland ass singing, crooning, and auto-crooning. That's really what makes this project fall off on that second half, man. It all just gets very generic and they're not really doing too much with it. So the track 1, 2 in particular is a bunch of croaky auto-crooning. I can't even tell who's on some of these tracks because clearly someone is featured doing some of the singing, but I don't know who it is and it doesn't really sound like anything interesting. And even NLE Chopper, who is credited on the song Dreams, he's just in that same Young Thug and Gunna mold. So all that shit on the second half where they're just auto-crooning about basic topics over simple beats, that really took me out of this project. Throw in a couple of pretty average smooth joints aimed at the ladies with Newly Exposed and Tonight, and what you're left with is an album that starts off strong but gets fillerish on the back end. So that's actually why I ended up going with a 3 out of 5 here. I was thinking about a 3.5. Like after the first couple of tracks, I was pretty happy with this, but the whole thing overall is just not overly consistent. So I felt like a 3 is what it's going to get because it is above average. It's pretty good, and I recommend it, especially if you like old school Cash Money. You might get some of those old CMR vibes here. Juvenile, like I said, is doing his damn thing. Man, I got to move this mic back. I'm always fucking up. But yeah, man, that's where I stand on it. It's pretty good. You guys check it out for yourself and then let me know in the comments section what you think. Do you like this? Do you want more from them together as a group? Do you want them to branch off and do some solo stuff? What Cash Money projects did you like? You know how it goes, man. Just tell me whatever you want to tell me in the comments. And as usual, do all that good YouTube and social media stuff where you show me love and you show me lots of it. Thank you for watching, everybody. I will see you next time.